What is up, everybody? Liam Murphy and Davis Mattek back for the Davis and Liam Show. We'll be doing these on Wednesdays where we talk about football, the upcoming week, best ball, really whatever's on our minds. Davis, first and foremost, how you doing on this lovely Wednesday afternoon? You're muted. Good start. Good start.
Good start. I'm doing good. Wednesday is like a slightly more relaxed day for me, which is pretty nice. I pretty much every day of the week is just grinding away in the content mines, but Wednesday not so bad. We got some best ball data to look at.
It's Christmas, man.
Yeah, I don't love looking at my teams because I just think they all suck. Like I just look at a team and I'm like, well, that's never winning. That's not winning $1 million. So I don't like. You had me send you my highest scoring team, and I'm like, that team is ass. That team is excluded from winning.
Well, we're gonna get to that. By the way, Davis, do you know how to turn off our nameplates? I know there is a setting to do that. I want to turn mine off because it's like blocking my face. I don't know. We'll figure that out.
Yeah, go to the brand bar, and you can click the you can change how it overlays.
All right, I'll figure that on my end. Speaking of working in the content mines, we're gonna kick things off here with a couple things I tweeted for us to talk about. First of all, I watched all of Hard Knocks, and I did not intend this tweet to get picked up by like normie Twitter. I tweeted out, basically, if you haven't seen this, CJ Stroud talked to Caleb Williams. Caleb Williams, got sacked a bunch, was really dismissive, tried to walk away. Stroud pulled him back. He's like, hey, come here. And Caleb didn't react well. And I basically said, saw this attitude, during Hard Knocks, didn't love it. I'm not panicking on him, but I don't love to see it. And I almost added in this tweet, like, as someone that's heavily exposed in best ball, I didn't start super into the Bears, but I ended that way. I kept on firing off DJ Moore at the 2-3 turn. I kept on getting Caleb. I was getting excited about them. But yeah, I was watching Hard Knocks, and I would just see him say things like, no, like, I'm not nervous at all, or just like be generally dismissive. So for anyone who's wondering, I wasn't trying to engage bait on this. Of course, DraftKings Sportsbook picked this up. Davis, I'm sure, is Arthur fisting over here.
I know that's good. That's good from you. Yeah, I mean, I have a very different reaction from you. I more thought it was weird. Like, what is CJ Stroud accomplished? What gives CJ Stroud the right to be like, hey man, you're gonna be great in this league? Like, dude, you guys are the same age. Settle down.
What I was talking, like, I wasn't even trying to talk about this interaction. Like, if I was in Caleb's shoes, I would feel the same way. Like, why are you doing this, dude? But I was more talking about how I saw him interact on Hard Knocks. Like, a little alarm bells would go off, and I'd be like, I don't love that, but whatever. Like, he's gonna be great. Because I don't know. I mean, did you see what Drew Bledsoe said about Tony Romo versus like Tom Brady, and how when Tony Romo became the starter, it was kind of like the Tony Romo show, no longer asking questions. And he said Tom Brady was more the opposite, where he would, like, even though Tom Brady was the starter, he kept on leaning on Bledsoe's expertise, asked questions. And I personally believe that, like, people who are going to be great, there's a level of humility. Yes, you believe in yourself, but you also keep on asking questions. You're curious. You try to improve. You try to take things from others. I don't know, man. Like, it would be hard to be Caleb. So much expectations on him. But yeah, that's my view on it. Go ahead, David.
I don't know. It's like that is much more Liam territory than my territory. Like, that is not so much my brand. I am unabashedly pro Caleb. So anything that, like, that's just my base take, and I'm not moving. I'm like not moving off that take. I'm not reacting too hard off that take for at least a year. At least a year. Now for fantasy, it's not that great this season for our teams. We were big Rome drafters. I think DJ Moore is on my top page of exposures. Although weirdly, I think DJ is probably going to be fine because it seems like he's the only player that Waldron knows exists. But it's been 2 games, and Waldron is a big loser. So lots going on there.
Yeah, a lot of people blaming the coaches there. I'm thinking there's going to be better days ahead. So I think we've had a weird start to the season. We're going to get to the best ball leaderboard tool is back out with Underdog releasing the data. You can find that pinned in my Discord under best ball resources. But for anyone out there, we're going to get to some numbers here. Alvin Kamara, off the top of my head, is a 63% advance rate player right now. The year I won BBM2, I only advanced 19 teams. That is a poor mathematical expectation. 25 is your expected advance rate if you draft 150 teams. So, no, I'm not trying to be below advance rate. But I just advise you to breathe out there. If you have some bad advance rates, I have one guy on Twitter who tagged me, Herzig, Peter, probably yourself, tagged everyone because he drafted, I think, a lot of Alvin Kamara, and he's like, where are all these sharps now? I'd also advise that guy to let the season breathe a little bit, but hey, we're here to have fun. And then I want to get your input on this, where CD Lamb was paired with Devonta Smith nearly 16,000 times, a commonly 2-3 turn player. Guys like DK Metcalf, DJ Moore, you're looking at Lamb paired with them around 4,000 to 3,000 times. So nearly 4x lower to have that combo. And I think there becomes a time where we need to ask ourselves, how much do we value week 17 correlation where, okay, the finals field is only 500 teams, but let's say 4 teams make it into the finals with Lamb and Devonta Smith. Wouldn't you rather just have the Lamb and DK Metcalf team, the Lamb and DJ Moore team, where it's a 1-week slate for all the money and you're just inherently going to be competing against 75% less teams? So
Yes,
where's your stance
except
on that?
Liam, if you think about it, it's actually miraculous with how common those players were paired together that there are only 15,000 combinations of them. Then if you just apply the base rate of slashing them, the chat always loves when I do math live on stream. But so if you slash it, I'm gonna guess napkin math it, the difference between 1,500 teams and 4,000 teams. Once you get it down to week 17, I guess it would be 2 teams difference.
No, that's why I said 4-1. Like, just
Yeah.
assume it's like 4 teams make it versus 1.
Yeah. My take on that would be I don't care. My take on that would be it's not the field is not prioritizing it up. Now, I will say I didn't prioritize bringbacks that much this year anyways, because I felt that the market was bad in fantasy football this year. I thought that there were a lot. Now, obviously, some of my big stances like already look laughably wrong, like Chase Brown and things like that. But I felt more comfortable this year drafting exploitative as opposed to really forcing the week 17 bringback stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I was kind of like, it's a tie break to me. I knew this was being done at too high of a clip. And it's, this is just guys taken normally at ADP. So if you were someone going Lamb and Tank Dell, Lamb and Zay Flowers, that combination is probably roughly 1%. As far as taking them at ADP versus them falling a full round.
John Boy Beats. I keep coming back to this because this is an example of something I'm really bad at or was really bad at. And he made such a stark point to me. And this is probably something you did, but he was one of as Best Ball Mania was ending, we streamed on a Sunday and we drafted the 101 and he was like, I did this the other day. I pulled Tank and Diggs up to the 2-3 turn. Then I got Lamar and Andrews for the stack on the 4-5 turn. I mean, if we start running the combinations of, either McCaffrey with that or CD with that, Dell, Diggs, Lamar, and Andrews, I'm going to guess, are there even 5 of those? Probably not, And so that is, and obviously there's just not that big of a gap in projection between Malik Neighbors or Stephon Diggs before the season starts. And I was really bad at that.
Well, I mean, I'm pretty sure you and I had conversations about this many times where I was like, everyone is going Lamar, Andrews plus CMC or Lamb. No one is doing that plus 1-2 turn players. That's why, literally the first article I wrote this year was about who Lamb was compared, who he was comboed with at the 1-2 turn. Now, it just so happens in a 1-week sample, Lamb plus Amon-Ra was effectively the nuts for week 17 last year. But we're just not always going to get that. Like, not sometimes you're going to get the bring back where it's
I think
Jalen Tolbert and AJ Brown.
I think the people who spent all offseason complaining about getting the 12 were definitely right. Unless they nutted up and took Nico Collins there, then you're fine.
No, I think they're wrong because CMC got hurt. So if you ran good, just not getting CMC, if you were going to go CMC,
the only good spot to have gotten in the first round was the one where you took Justin Jefferson. The rest of them all seem kind of mediocre.
I think, like, I don't think Jefferson is going to catch a 80-yard bomb from the 1-yard line every single week. Like, very talented football player, but he's a clear, like, come on, there's negative regression.
Okay. Buddy, I don't think
I know this is like your biggest brand thing, but like that's I don't think he's going to be catching 99-yard touchdowns each week.
Obviously, he will not duplicate the stat in that same way, but the whole concern on why Justin Jefferson was not the 101 was that he had worse quarterback play in years past through 2 games against.
That looks wrong. I agree there.
Yeah. The throw that Darnold made for the touchdown, I mean, obviously the throw itself was impressive, but the more impressive thing was that he was standing in his own end zone and he stepped up in the pocket when it was crumbling around him and threw the strike. I mean, that is not something I've ever really seen Darnold do before.
Yeah, I think really there's going to be a huge separation of first-round picks where, first of all, we have several of first-round picks banged up or their quarterback is missing games in Tyreek Hill's case, who Tyreek's like a little QB-proof, but not as QB-proof as Achane is. And then you have like Jamar Chase, who's just underperformed. I think he's going to bounce up. CeeDee Lamb, who has been like average, he's going to bounce up. Breece Hall's healthy. He's going to start smashing further. Bijan hasn't scored a touchdown. He's going to have better games.
Bijan looks really, really good.
Yeah. Jefferson will continue to go and then you're going to have like the Puka teams fall off, the CMC teams fall even further, etc. So I don't know, some interesting game theory discussions here. Would be interested on a guy like Leone's take on this. I think Hayden Winks is on the camp that it's done too much. And I don't know, it's like individual week samples. So yeah, sure. The year you nail Lamb and Smith going off for whatever, 80 combined points, you might be winning $1.5 million. But there's going to be other years where Lamb and DK Metcalf both score 40 and Smith puts up a stinker. I pulled some best ball advance rates on players who I think are it's 2 weeks. Some guys are too high. I think some guys are too low. Just some, I didn't pull everyone here, but Alvin Kamara, again, is at 62% advance rate. So that's doing a lot of wonkiness.
Yeah, I mean, even the Josh Jacobs season was 48% advance rate.
Yeah, Mostert was, I think, 40. So obviously, this is insane right now.
You want to know what's really funny, though, that I think is that I suspect that the Alvin Kamara rate will come down to a massive degree, not only because he will regress a little bit, but also because of the old Sky Moore was a 10% advance rate player, which is that theoretically good best ball players were taking Sky Moore. And I think probably theoretically not bad, but not super sharp best ball players were the ones packing the Kamara bags, which obviously sounds like insane cope coming from me, who is not a Kamara drafter, but that is one thing that I thought.
Yeah, like Kamara drafters were more likely to take Derrick Henry, for example.
Who I think of all the healthy players does look like the worst pick on the board right now.
Yeah, Kamara just straight up looks rejuvenated. I don't know if this guy got stem cell, therapy or something, but he was looking slow. I always knew he could catch passes. I don't have no Kamara. I primarily was trying to draft him after ADP, probably 4 or 5%, maybe lower. But I definitely didn't see that. His expected fantasy points, again, I think was roughly 18. He scored 40. Chris Godwin is the wide receiver 1. I think Godwin's going to have a good year.
That one I feel bad about. That one I feel bad for not having taking these Bears wide receivers and stuff every time over Godwin. That feels inexcusable and I should learn something from that.
I was taking a lot of the rookies, primarily like Brian Thomas. Yes, the Bears guys too. And yeah, I agree. Like a little bit more humility there where we take the boring vet and not just rookie Pillett. But I was also getting a lot of James Cook at the expense of Godwin. So it goes both ways, you know. Derek Carr obviously being pulled up by all Saints numbers here. J.K. Dobbins just like, I mean, uber efficient, but that's going to come down. He's had 2 smash matchups.
Yeah, I feel
too.
that was an example of me being Bayesian, where I like had like
Humble.
flat 0 of him through like 500 drafts and then started hammering Dobbins towards the end. So I do like that.
You did that better than me. I was just like, nope, it's the Gus Bus. And I mean, Gus Bus is getting carries, but
No,
that
Gus
could go
Gus
to
is
zero
learning.
real
Yeah,
quick.
Gus is learning. I think Gretsch just wrote about this in his stealing signals today, but like the Gus Edwards healthy scratch for Vidal is coming soon.
Yeah.
Maybe it's not week 3 because they're winning, but it is definitely because even Harbaugh, who like loves his guys and all that stuff, even Harbaugh wants to win games and wants to gain yards on plays where Vidal is not getting the ball, or on plays where Dobbins is not getting the ball.
And even Dobbins, like we're not seeing him used a ton in the passing game where like, I don't know if that's Vidal, but I'm assuming Vidal can do that better than Gus Bus. And so
Vidal's
like,
running, or Dobbins is running more routes, but Herbert only has like what 29 pass attempts through 2 games.
exactly. Like we've seen a lot of wonky game scripts where like the Bills are another example where like the Bills have been curb stomping people. So no, you're not going to pass the ball a lot in that example. Saquon, an absurd advance rate, scored 3 touchdowns week 1. He's not going to do that every week. You know, I pulled some of the injured guys just as an example. These are obviously going to go lower just because they're injured. They're not going to play. Jamar Chase and Ayuk. Like, I mean, I thought Ayuk was going to have an explosion this week no matter what.
Are you certain the Jamar Chase one is going to go up?
To me, yes, because, I mean, A, he gets the Commanders this week. So, like, this is the nuts.
That's true. That's big.
And then, secondly, like, defenses still think Jamar Chase is important, right? And the Bengals are the only team who are, like, the pass-happy team, you know? So, like, they're like, not even the Chiefs are positive pass rate over expected. So, like, the Bengals, at least you have the pass-happy thesis alive and well.
Yeah. I just, I mean, it brings me a great amount of joy to talk about how bad the Bengals look and how bad the vibes are there. Like, what was it?
They should have beat the Chiefs, though.
Oh, of course they should have. But I mean, what once the little brother, always the little brother for the Bengals there, right? But the more concerning thing is literally 4 hours before kick, Schefter tweets, "No long-term contract extension is not happening." Isn't that just very bizarre?
Did you know, like I read earlier today that owners are allowed to basically like take out insurance premiums to like
I just learned that.
get more cap space. And that feels like something that's just like the richest owners win. So you should remove that, but is an example of what the Bengals ownership will never do. I've seen this level of ownership before where it's not anywhere close as bad for the Bengals. Like, I think they are going to sign Chase next year. But like the Bills with Ralph Wilson, like he was a penny pincher by the end of it. And so were his kids. Like they knew they were selling the team. He was old. And I was like, okay, we basically need our owner to die to like get someone in there that's going to build a competitive team.
The Bengals were the only team that voted against private equity owning 10% of the team.
Isn't that weird though?
So I thought it was. So I'm going to forget. I don't remember if this was Jacob or Sam or whoever who explained this or not explained it, but just had this take that I ended up agreeing with, which is, yeah, even if they are cash poor, it actually makes sense for the most boomer organization to be like, no, you keep my private equity. This is a family owned business. I've run it this way. I don't want no goddamn Wall Street executive telling me what to do. Like, yeah. So I thought that was pretty funny.
Yeah, I don't know. I would have thought they would have been like the that was supposed to be a scroll. I would have thought they would be the one team who's like, yes, we need to sell this to a Bitcoin billionaire, you know,
yes.
like I don't know. The vibes are weird. Just some low owned guys who I think you should be excited about. Jordan Mason, surprisingly 40% owned. That was
How did that
Isn't that so
happen?
high? Isn't
Yeah.
that so like I had him ranked at the 150s since like I don't know, early August. I could go back and pull it, but he was still a consensus 18 round pick until Elijah Mitchell was ruled out. So I don't know how the market got so sharp and got to 40%.
One of
On
the one of the guys in my Discord, Bolik, he didn't enter a single best ball mania until I think like August 10th or something.
yeah.
Uh, he did 150 slow BBMs, and he is the number one Jordan Mason. He took him. He has like 43% Jordan Mason. He just took him every time, which is
Yeah, this is like the people
sick.
who come into the chat and they're like, "Hey, I was in your pod last year and I drafted Kyron Williams because of you and knocked you out." Where it's like, "Yeah, I know I could draft all my teams late too and get some CLV, but like, okay, this year we got Mason, that's a hit, but last year was still like last year you got Puka Nakua, Tank Dell, Kyron Williams, you got like all these guys. This year it's really only Mason, I guess Carson Steele and P. Ryan also not high drafted players who you could see a big return for here soon. Shout out Bullock. I've seen him in the Discord, so good for him. And I like Mason's only at 30% advance rate. I think that's going to climb. So, yeah, you clearly haven't felt the impact here. I'm Steele over P. Ryan. How are you seeing that, Davis? It's a
I
50.
mean, I'll say the skin in the game answer is like I'm like doing waivers today, and I'm bidding like 20 to 25% on each of them, like conditional bids. Like I don't even care which one I win, really.
P. Ryan is held in most leagues. Steele is available in some, I think.
Yeah. So I mean, I think P Ryan. The thing that's giving me pause is the way that they've used Steele, particularly last week, was like they used him in two pretty high leverage spots, and they went back to him after he fumbled, which is like really not like Andy Reid to go back to a running back after they.
For Steele, you mean you said P. Ryan, but you mean Steele.
Oh yes, yeah.
Yeah.
So they used him in. I mean, he was getting the ball in the in the fourth quarter of
Yeah, like to ice away the game.
yeah. So that I thought was pretty big, and if Kansas City was a normal team that ran the ball at the goal line, I'd be like, you definitely want Steele. But because God, Andy Reid is so goddamn annoying. You know, like the backup tackle touchdown is so annoying.
But that's the Chiefs' experience. You know
No,
you're
for
going to get
sure.
that. Like
Yeah.
you should know that. Like the other people who just thought it was only going to be Worthy and Rice, okay, they may not know
Well,
this. But you knew Juju and Co were going to get some touchdowns.
what
The Bills
I'm
do this too.
what I'm saying is that actually makes P Ryan like he's got more outs because P Ryan is just going to be the long down and distance back. I think. Although weirdly, Steele is good at that. I mean, Steele's like
Well,
he's a
yeah.
fullback, you know.
Well,
So
Steele's not a fullback. Like he is listed as that for like roster semantics, but I have seen Steele go out for like a wide receiver bubble screen. Like, and okay, he wasn't targeted on it, but it's generally a good sign that they're at least putting him as a decoy to be a pass catcher. Yeah, P. Ryan will probably be third down back, but as far as like, could one of these guys seize the backfield and be, like
I
put up
think
big
no.
games?
I think no one's seizing it.
Probably not. But if someone could, I think it's Steele because I think Steele is unquestionably going to be the goal line RB. So you have touchdown equity. He's unquestionably going to get more of the rushing load. And then it's just a question of like, is he used in the passing game? Of course, CEH could return, which puts a fly in the ointment. I don't know if like signing Kareem Hunt matters at all as far as
So I
whether
got
that's likely or not.
there's an update on that. They signed Keontae Ingram to an active roster contract instead of using a practice squad call up.
He was on the team already earlier in the
So
year.
he was on the practice squad, but there's a difference between signing a guy to an active roster contract versus calling them up from the practice squad. It's like more of a commitment, which leads me to believe that Hunt is not going to be active for a couple weeks. And by then, I feel like the team will probably have already decided on what their backfield rotation is.
No, yeah, Kareem Hunt almost certainly a nothing, just like pure like emergency back. I slightly prefer Steele, but it's up in the air. And I don't know, guys. Like Pacheco shares, they're probably just dead, even if he does return,
No,
because
he's either not coming back or not coming back at full health.
yeah, that's like late in the season. All right, so this is bbmdb.com, stands for Best Ball Mania Database. I'm also hoping they can get something going for the marathon. Now, Davis, you are out advancing me, so we'll look at you first here. Might as well. We got the hitting with the
Probably
green.
a bunch of teams I drafted with Reeves and Herzig. Honestly,
Let's. My advance rates are terrible right now, but I'm really not panicking about it. I
Dalton
got
Kincaid has
safe.
-3 air yards, bro.
Dalton Kincaid is outscoring Travis Kelce. So how about that?
Travis Kincaid or Kelsey was a half yard and a bullshit foul away from 461-1.
No, I mean on a serious argument of Kelce versus Kincaid, I think it's a little bit of eye of the beholder. Where Kincaid to me has been unlucky because he got kneed in the head and then it was a blowout. He got bracketed in the Cardinals game. Like clearly, much better days ahead there when the Bills actually have to pass. They got game and they have a tough schedule upcoming, so they should. Kelce, it's more we've seen it before. Now you got no Hollywood Brown. I think there's better days ahead for Kelce as well, but it's more of a question of just like what can he even be this year? Like he's gonna.
I definitely right now, if you offered me, I could just swap in Rashee Rice for every time I took Kelce. I would do it. Yeah,
easily. Yeah. So Davis, let's look at your top scoring team for sure. And you sent me this team before BBMD came out today, by the way.
Yeah. It's like not a good team.
Well, what I was trying to say to you in the DM, I was like, wow, man, like I was really impressed because I was like, I know this has some players you hate. Like, what a humble approach by you. And then you're like, no, I drafted this with Herzig because it has Darnell Mooney on it. It has Traylon Burks. Like, these are definitely not your guys, in my opinion.
I did. So after Rondale broke his leg, I started taking Mooney because then I was like, well, there's just no one who can take his job. And then there's the Kamara, which was obviously that was all Herzig. So shout out to Herzig, man.
Yeah, I got like some cheap Herzig, but good score from you here, 295. You're like exactly at expected advance rate, which honestly feels good. Like I would feel good in your shoes for someone without a lot of Kamara, who again is a 60% advance rate. Like I'm getting killed advance rate wise. We'll check out me. Before we do, let's get to one of these super chats. Thank you for the super chats. Thoughts on Keon Coleman? I mean, I think Keon Coleman is going to be a boom bust player in the sense that like he is going to occasionally win 60-yard bombs down the field, kind of like a George Pickens will. And he'll occasionally have games where he scores like 2 red zone touchdowns. And maybe he develops into one of the top targets, but I would assume the top targets of Buffalo are Kincaid and Shakir in the short term. And of course, James Cook is probably the #1 Bills fantasy player if the Bills are going to be this good.
You know what? I actually am still pretty bullish on Coleman because Shakir, I know he's been like pretty good through 2 games or whatever, but like he's such a Shakir is just like not an impressive football player to me personally. So I think there's a lot of meat on the bone for Keon Coleman. And I also don't think Dalton Kincaid is very good, which is contentious here on this channel. So I think there's I think there's a lot of room left for Keon Coleman to do an ARSB in the second half of the season, especially because he got on the field right away. They just haven't thrown. They're negative pass rate over expectation right now.
Well, it's kind of that's like kind of the thesis of Kincaid, but it's kind of ironic you're calling him an Amon-Ra St. Brown because that's more of what Shakir's game is. Like Shakir is more of the.
I just meant in terms of the scoring, not how he scores.
Sure, yeah, but like I guess the bullish thing for Shakir would be he was like 50% snaps week 1, and then was like 80% week 2, something like that. And what Shakir does is he's a yak guy who and he's a bowling ball. Like if you don't wrap him, he's bouncing off. He's fast. He's getting you yards after contact. I don't know if that's Coleman's game. I think Coleman's game is Josh is going to throw it up to him, and he's going to come down with some awesome. He's going to have some like huge yardage games on low target numbers, a la a Bills George Pickens or whatever. But yeah, I don't think we know much about the Bills still yet because, again, the Cardinals game was kind of weird. And then the Dolphins game was like effectively a blowout very early. Someone wanted to check out the Mahomes worthy player combos. We'll check that out.
It's not even on the first page of most common 2-player pairings. I just saw it on Twitter.
Let's pull up me. I'm getting killed. I think I have like 12 teams advancing right now. What I really like about this is you can see like how many teams are close to advancing, which puts things in perspective, right? Like when you have like 50 teams within 5 points, okay, better days ahead. So yeah, I'm only advancing 12 teams. Don't they know I'm top 1,000 in scoring in a contest that doesn't reward
Don't they know, bro?
regular season prizes? Let's pull up my team. Drafted on 831, so one of my last teams drafted.
I bet this is a Mason team.
And Kamara, probably. Like, I don't think you can have a top scoring team without Kamara. And then we're going to look at our exposures and just kind of talk about how we're feeling about them as far as past or the future. So this is a Hurts, Purdy
Kamara
team.
and Mason.
And
likely.
Yeah. Loaded running back room with Cook, Kamara, Pollard, Mason, Irving, and now outs to Pirine. AJ Brown, Hurt, Tank Dell. Like, wide receiver room, honestly, got a lot of room to grow. Hopkins, of course, is like ramping up, still pretty much a 0. I think we'll see better days for Rome and Tank. Definitely Tank, hopefully Rome. Nailed likely pretty much all you need to do to have a good tight end. So perfectly cromulent team. So yeah, there's a lot of cool things that you can do here. Shout out Patrick for this free resource.
Yeah, very, very cool.
Yeah, like awesome. Hoping that he can get something going for the marathon. We'll look at, I guess, my exposures first here.
Yeah, how are you feeling about the chat is chirping you? How are you feeling about Jerome Ford?
Well, let's pull it up here, and then, I mean, honestly,
my top exposures are all dust, other than Worthy. They're pretty much all dust right now. So I got no room.
On Ford, like I drafted Ford in the 130s usually. Like we're gonna see what we drafted them at, and I think Patrick's thing is a little off where it's showing. Like it shows it's. You're gonna see this in a second here, but it shows you. Again, guys, this is pinned in my Discord. You can join that below, under Best Ball Resources if you want to play around with it. But it shows you some data, which I don't know if all of it's accurate. Number one, it shows you like how many slow drafts you did. That is definitely wrong. So I only did one slow here. It shows you auto picks too. That's a cool new thing. And then what I really like is it shows you your average pick and then versus ADP. I mean, I know for a fact Jerome Ford closed as like like the 100, 110. So my average pick is 130, which is obviously meaning like I just kind of stopped drafting him once he got up to that like Tony Pollard, Tajay Spears range. But I mean, obviously you don't like that Foreman like straight up played over him. At the same time, Foreman fumbled the ball at the 1 yard line, and Ford still had an explosive play, which is like the whole thesis of Ford is that he's still going to be involved once Chubb comes back, and I still feel good about that. I don't know if Foreman is just going to be the goal line back now. Ford wasn't really a goal line back anyways, but still feel good about his explosive potential. I think he had like a 50-yard run or something in the game. Kincaid, I think better days ahead. Ray Davis, like even if an injury occurs, Ty Johnson's going to be in the mix there.
No, but Ray Davis looked really good against the against the Dolphins.
He does look good. He's not playing a lot, but you know, like, and that's the other thing I would say, guys, about your exposures. Like if you built a lot of 0 RB that doesn't have Jordan Mason on it or Zach Charbonnet, typically your advance rates are going to go up as the season goes versus down. Shakir, he's been producing. I don't know, feeling different. Coleman,
no, I think that's fun. None of these guys are dead. I guess Ferguson's kind of dead.
Moss, I feel good about that because I was kind of convinced.
No, Moss is a good pick.
But I was I have Chase Brown too, so like I wasn't firmly there.
how much can he? The thing is how much can the dude score? Like, it's just like he looks awful. I mean,
He,
Brown doesn't look any good either, but they both. Oh, yeah,
I would say that the Chiefs are like a legit top defense, and the Patriots defense is like respectable. So let's see the Bengals, like the Bengals against the Commanders. Like, isn't that a game where we're going to see a Bengals
God, I
offensive
hope so.
explosion?
I hope they score like 39 points there.
And I don't think Chase Brown is dead either. Like, even if it is the Moss show, which it's going to be in the short term, like, you at worst have contingent upside. And again, like, if they're trailing by a lot, maybe they prefer Chase Brown's explosion, or just against the worst team, maybe they want to get him involved. Luke McCaffrey, I feel decent about just because he's not a zero. Like, okay,
No,
not like,
he's already the starting slot wide receiver.
yeah, like I feel good about that. Ayuk, better days ahead. I'm bummed that Debo got hurt. I drafted him too.
Yeah, that
Because
one. Debo's going to be on the top of my page.
I thought Ayuk was gonna, like, we saw Jameson Williams smash the Rams. We saw Marvin Harrison Jr. smash the Rams deep. So I was like, okay, this is Ayuk's week. But now he's obviously gonna get more attention. Will Shipley, I mean, you feel good in the sense that valuable spot if Saquon goes down, but that's probably what it takes. And Kenneth Gainwell also seems like ahead, but if something happens to Saquon, I think both would get involved. Rome's drop touchdown hurts. Braylon Allen, you feel good about.
Braylon
Jalen
Allen is
Wright.
smash, yeah.
You feel good about Jalen Wright. Like, we already are seeing the thesis. Dolphins are going to be worse. Zay Flowers.
I don't feel good about Jalen Wright.
You don't feel good about like week 2 and he's already in the mix to be this, like, you know, okay, he's behind Achane, but Mostert is injured already. That was the thesis. Like,
but now Mostert's got 10 days to get back, and I mean, I don't believe Jalen Wright. Like, there's been this pattern matching thing of being like, oh, Jalen Wright is just the new Achane. I am of the belief that Achane is a singular special player that can't be duplicated by a guy who was like just okay at Tennessee. And perhaps more importantly, Hill and Waddle were not playing in the fourth quarter. And they were like, we don't even trust Jalen Wright to close this game out with Skylar Thompson in there. Let's just do more Devin Achane.
well, so I'd say 2 things on that. Number 1, Achane mopped up in garbage time last year, where like he got a lot of points in garbage time. And maybe in the back of Achane's head, he's like, you know what I don't want to have happen? I don't want this guy to come look good in garbage time and do what I did, you know? And more likely what occurred is that McDaniels knew that, I mean, A, Tyreek and Waddle are less replaceable than any running back, even Achane. And B, he knew that Skylar Thompson was probably going to be his quarterback for a while here. And he wanted him to have at least one real target on the field still if he's going to be resting Tyreek and Waddle. So, no, like, Wright is not giving you fantasy points right now, but you feel good that he's even in the mix to start seeing the field. We'll see on most of
I think you and I are just like, so you got to just admit that some things we believed 2 weeks ago were just wrong. And I think Jalen Wright, I feel objectively worse about Jalen Wright today than I did when we were drafting 2 weeks ago.
Like, don't get me wrong. I would swap Wright for Charbonnet if I was allowed, Mason if I was allowed.
Would
like,
you? Here's a good one.
Trade him for.
Would you swap him right now for one of the 2 Chiefs guys? Because I definitely would. I would swap him for.
Yeah, yes. If I could have a starting running back on the Chiefs, I would prefer that to the guy behind Achane. But would I swap all my Jalen Wright for Ray Davis? No. Would I swap all my Jalen Wright for Ty Chandler? No. Right? Like,
Ty Chandler, I think yes. Ty Chandler,
you would swap every single share of Jalen Wright in a 17-week season to Ty Chandler when we knew Ty Chandler was going to be producing. Like, that's week 1 brain for you. If
Aaron Jones, Aaron Jones. The thing I was unclear about was what was Aaron Jones's role going to be. Was this going to be a Josh Jacobs situation where Jacobs comes into his new team and is getting 90% of the work, or is this going to be like a 60-40? And it looks like a 60-40 to me. There's a good one. I would definitely. I'd swap 100%.
Yeah, because
Jalen Wright. No, because I liked Braylon Allen anyways. Like, Braylon Allen, when we do my list, Braylon Allen's going to be on the top of my page. And I would, whatever right I have, I would swap
What's
for
gonna be? Let's look. My
Braylon.
ADP on him is 180.
Oh,
I
mine's
want
gonna
to
be
see it.
way higher. Way
Yeah,
higher.
I got a lot. I mean, I have 29 Braylon Allen teams. Like, no, my personal opinion on like, I feel good that like Ray Davis. Ray Davis hasn't done anything. I feel good that he's seen the field. That's the same way I feel about Jalen Wright. He hasn't done anything. He might not do anything. He might just be a zero. Like maybe he's behind Jeff Wilson all year. But I personally feel good that a super fast guy is seeing the field. And I don't know, the Dolphins, like they shouldn't be 1-1. They should be 0-2. They're going to be doing some wonky things on offense here, probably a la the Packers.
What do you think
to
they
try to
should
win.
do at quarterback? I the favorite thing anyone has
Huntley,
proposed
dude.
thus far is Bryce Young. Bryce Young would be the funniest.
I just don't see that trade occurring. Like I have faith McDaniels can make him look better, but I think Huntley is kind of fun for them. With
Huntley has given some huge fantasy games to pass catchers before. Mac Jones is a good one. Mac Jones, I'd really like to see Mac Jones on this team. No
yeah, but
disrespect
like
to Skylar Thompson.
there's no way the Jaguars are 0-2. They still have delusions of making the playoffs. Would you help a competitor try to make the playoffs unless you got a significant draft pick for it? No. Like we want that to occur, but it's just not going to happen in my mind.
Yeah.
Zay I guess we'll just get to like players we have 25 or more. Zay Flowers, I feel really good about. I just kind of thought he'd be the engine of the offense, and that looks correct to date. Chase and Dowdle and Cook, feel good about them. Kirk, I don't know, man. Like, I'm not
No,
seen enough Jaguars games, but
Kirk is dead, bro.
I don't think he's dead. Like, I think the
He
Jaguars as
just
a
got
whole have been
he just
bad.
got negative 0.9 points in a game Evan Ingram didn't play, dude. It's
Yeah, okay, and he scored 1 point last week and then averaged 13 PPR points. Like,
to your point, he did have a touchdown waved off by a pretty ticky-tack
yeah.
penalty.
And I think he also had another like deep ball wiped away. So no, I think Brian Thomas Jr. is like a legit target threat. And
so is Gabe Davis.
Gabe Davis is being involved too. But I still think Kirk, like, okay, Kirk, like Worthy also disappointed this week. I don't firmly know I'd want every Kirk share to be Worthy, for example. I think wide receiver is kind of like whack-a-mole, as far as who's going to produce in a given week. The Jaguars did play the Browns, one of the best defenses in football. Christian Watson, I mean, that's Jordan Love, so I don't know how that will turn out, but I felt good about it week 1 when Love was healthy. Had some shots, and then, I don't know, these guys feel good about some of them. So Corley, not so much, but he
God, 16% to Marcus Robinson. The fuck is wrong with you, Liam?
This is all, like, again, this has to do with when I drafted. So, like,
you let the cabal psyop you, buddy.
First of all, I'm running pure on this where Cup and Puka are out.
You're not. Yeah, right. The thing is it's actually impossible to run pure into Marcus Robinson because he's not going to earn targets. He could be playing 7. He could play 7-on-0 against air, and he wouldn't.
6 more targets than Worthy got in week 2 for DeMarcus Robinson. And anyways, the DeMarcus Robinson exposure, I stopped drafting later in the year because I heard about guys like Whittington. And so I was like, okay, like there's at least someone that could usurp him. I hadn't heard of Tyler Johnson. I didn't think he was like a legit threat to be playing.
I didn't think he was a legit threat to be playing, but I've been enamored with that dude for a long time.
My choice is Whittington there, by the way, as far as like number 1 priority.
My bet is Tyler Johnson most points this week. Whittington best bet for points long term. Robinson, if you really need 8 points, like if you really need 8 points, that is your guy.
Hey, dude, Tyler Boyd got me 8 points to win BBM.
Sure.
BBM 2.
Yeah, if you really need 8 points.
No, I think Whittington is the most likely to me to be in the Puka Cup role of getting like 8 slant targets a game.
For sure.
So if the Rams are not just like a pure disaster, I think he has long-term appeal. So Worthy for you, I would still feel good about this. Like I'm not panicking on low target share. You feel great about Hollywood. Like we know what Worthy is. He's capable of huge games.
Yeah,
and
I'm not sweating.
Warren,
I think people
also feel good on.
Yeah. It feels weird. Like people are seeming to be like, oh, Worthy's totally dead, but that's not been my.
Hell yeah. No, I mean, I don't have this much Worthy at all, but like I think Worthy can put up 50 points in a singular game. Not many players can do that.
Yeah.
And we've seen what that can do for advance rates too. Alvin Kamara, 60%. Chase Brown, okay, you don't feel great, but better days ahead.
I mean, Chase Brown is just Braylon Allen now. That's all. It's just
he's probably a little worse than that.
Just or he's Blake Corum, who's also on my list. Like he's just a handcuff now.
That's fair. I think the Chiefs being so pass happy is like a little weird. Like, should we have cared about that for the running backs? Like, I wanted a lot of Zach Moss, partially because I knew they were playing the Broncos week 17, and I thought the Broncos were going to be ass. And so I was like, who could score 100 yards and 2 touchdowns? Probably Zach Moss. But if the Bengals are just going to pass it, really no one's racking up yards on the ground. They could score on a dump off, but
yeah, the interesting thing about the way they use Chase Brown is they use him in passing situations. He runs routes, but he's never asked to pass block, which, I mean, that can really go one of two ways, but yeah, I mean, Chase Brown is he's a bit player. He does not matter for fantasy football right now at all.
Rusty nailing it. Only drafted Zach Moss because he was a Bill. Hollywood, that one's rough.
What can you do, man?
DJ Moore, I think I got really bullish on DJ Moore by the end of it, where I was just always going him at the 2-3 term. I think he's going to have much better days ahead. Like, let's let the Bears breathe a little bit here.
Yeah, I'm not sweating him at all. That feels like he's the same player he always was in Carolina. He's the only guy who can consistently earn targets on what is a bad team right now. Yeah, but I don't know
if we can say that because Keenan got targets and then was hurt, and Rome played through injury. So did we get a healthy Rome against the Texans, or are we getting a Rome who's pushing himself through a sprained MCL? Like, I don't know if that's what Rome Odunze is. Like, that's my. In the short term, though, yeah, he's the most likely guy to pop up for big games.
Yeah. I mean, I just I would not, specifically because of the decisions I was making, where I was making it. It's like I would have just had more bad players if I wasn't taking DJ Moore. So I'm happy to have been taking DJ Moore where I was taking.
Well, you don't have Cooper Kupp if you drafted DJ Moore. Like, that's like another, rather be lucky than good, where Kupp is obviously going to miss games and Moore is not. Wicks, think you ran hot to get a Malik Willis touchdown, but I was not declaring Wicks dead week 1 as someone that didn't draft a lot of him. I still think Reed and Watson are the
he's pretty dead. He's pretty dead. He's Chase Brown at wide receiver.
But that's a lot different when your quarterback is Jordan Love and you can catch an 80-yard bomb. And I saw him slip 3 or 4 times on that.
So I went back and watched that game a couple times, and Wicks, he obviously left a ton of points on the field. I don't know if it was
not his fault, I think.
My cope would be saying it was the turf, but I don't know. And I think you saw on the touchdown the way they used him is like the Packers are pretty aware of who they have. He's pretty dynamic. I actually don't know why they play him less than Watson. I
think Romeo Doubs and him are the 3 and 4, where Doubs is more likely to get, 2 goal line touchdowns in a game, and Wicks is more likely to get a 60-yard bomb. Rico, you got to feel good that Rico effectively was playing ahead of Zeke. I don't know what's up with the Deuce Vaughn usage, but
no, so Deuce Vaughn getting 5 touches a game, that is dead. That Rico is.
He's not dead, man. The Cowboys got blown out.
Well, I don't know if it will continue, but the thing is Deuce Vaughn gets used. Deuce Vaughn gets used the same way that it's obviously. I'm not making this comparison, but I am going to make this comparison. Darren Sproles, where you never wanted Sproles pass blocking, so he would only play 17 snaps a game, but he'd get the ball on 60% of his snaps. That was the exact way that Vaughn was used, and it makes sense from a coaching perspective why you would want to do that with Deuce Vaughn, because you're not getting anything from your wide receiver, or you're not getting anything from your other running backs, so you just need to try and get some space And
That's a positive from Doom here.
the thing is you don't want any running back in a 3 running back rotation. Nate, what running back?
I
do you
don't think
want?
it is like Deuce Vaughn barely played though. I thought he looked good when he barely played, but I think the bigger thing for Dowdle and the Bengals pieces is if these teams are going to be so pass happy, when are the running backs scoring? But I don't know, man. I think the Cowboys will get it together. Blake Corum, like I would feel similar to Wright,
No,
but
you got to
much
feel
worse.
way worse about Corum because the
Only
Rams
because the
suck.
offense looks so bad. It
Yeah.
is why. Like
Yeah.
I could at least copium it to Wright levels, if not for
No, Corum is Jaleel McLaughlin value level now or whatever, where it's like he just can't even if Corum played 80% of the snaps, how many points
what that dude.
could he
Achan's not
score?
one of your number ones. Like, what are you doing?
I don't know, for real, honestly. It's
I
embarrassing.
ended by the last couple weeks, I was just taking Achan at the 1-2 turn. So I
Well,
don't have this much in BBM.
keep in mind, I ended up doing a bunch of like the last 75 of my BBMs were streamed drafts where they were all with other people.
Yeah, Cabal members.
Yeah.
Rice is a smash. He's like, I mean, if we were, I wanted to fade him for game theory reasons.
Yeah, he's a
But
first
I
round
wanted
pick.
him in like main events as far as like a league winner. He's like borderline a first round pick in fantasy.
I don't even think I think he'd be like the 10th pick or something.
I think I don't know. Because like Achan, Gibbs, I would probably value the running back. Saquon's going to be a first round pick. I guess Cup was, but now he's not. So a smash, Braylon Allen. You got 3 more teams. You only have 3 worst ADP there. Again, I don't know how pure this average pick stuff is. There could be some wonkiness still being worked out.
For sure.
Burton, I would feel good that he's at least seeing the field.
I mean, he got on the field. He got on the field and got 2 targets. So I was like,
on 8 routes or whatever.
I had a week ago, I had written Jermaine Burton off. I was like, I will see you next year, buddy. Yeah, I mean, the thing is T. Higgins is coming back though, too, which is like.
But like, we also have the assumption that a 3rd round pick is going to get involved more, and Trenton Irwin probably goes to 0. So it's probably going to be like Yoshi Voss and Burton as the 3 and 4 eventually, especially with the Bengals being, 0-2 here. Like they need to win. Noah Fant, I think the thesis is there. The games haven't come, but they will.
Yeah.
I think we should talk about Mahomes because I was of the camp that it's hard for expensive pocket passers to get there. Like Mahomes is expensive, Stroud, who is expensive, Joe Burrow, who's expensive, Dak Prescott.
Right.
How are you feeling about the Mahomes bags? Of course, it's 2 weeks. He's going to have big games, but at what you spent a 4th round pick to get Mahomes usually. Of course, you were trying to correlate. So, I get it.
That's the thing is, I can we look up pairings? Because I assume I've got a bunch. Well, actually, I probably have a bunch of fucking Hollywood Mahomes pairings. So those teams are probably just stone dead.
But wouldn't you rather have Rice plus Worthy plus instead
Nix,
of Mahomes?
Honestly, maybe
Like Rice and Worthy, and then just different quarterback versus Mahomes plus them.
What I will say is that the Chiefs opened up the year playing the Ravens and the Bengals. So like 2 good defenses, 2 games where you expect it to be pretty grinded out.
Are the Ravens good on defense? They just got lit up by the Raiders in the air.
So I mean, I don't know. It's a good question, I guess. I definitely would. It definitely feels a little bit bad right now. Like, don't get me wrong, it doesn't feel that great right now. But it's not one that I'm like, oh, you were bad for doing that, because I just got exposure to what I expect to be the best passing offense in football. I guess they're not the New Orleans Saints though.
No, and what I would say on this is, no matter how expensive a quarterback is, I think it's always defensible to draft them with the mindset of, what if this guy puts up 30 plus week 17? My personal stance is, though, like, when you are priced around Lamar, Hurts, and Josh Allen, who don't need to have good passing games, that's too expensive. So, like, I don't want you as an advance rate piece. And I don't like your matchup against the Steelers as far as, like, a high-scoring game where the Steelers, I know, are going to try to run the ball and shorten the game and shorten possessions, etc. Could Mahomes smash? Yes. But I don't know. I would rather have Rice plus Worthy on the same team, no Mahomes, and then get a different quarterback in there. Achane, smash, first round pick, and also like pretty QB proof. Like Skylar Thompson, like you might want Skylar Thompson if you have Achane. He targets the running back at like 30% historically, and now he has Achane.
Yeah. Wish I had more.
Yeah, me too. I think I have 20 teams in BBM. I was surprised I was that high, but I think by DK Millie Makers, I have like 40% Achane. But I did those all like the last couple weeks. Rome, I think there'll be better days ahead there. Jefferson, we know you're feeling great about. Dortch, I think you should feel good about. May, man, the Patriots, like they gotta lose some games. Dude.
Yeah,
like,
I mean, now the Patriots winning that Bengals game was about the worst thing that could happen.
And like Brissett, every time I look up, I'm like, Brissett eats a nasty hit. I'm like, oh, we're gonna see May. You know, like rooting for Brissett and his family, but come on, let's see May. Yeah. Cup, wow, bro, I didn't know you knew ball. 2016.
Oh, I was a big Cup guy. But yeah, he's dead now. Which I think you just basically every Rams player is a 0. Stafford's a 0. I think Kyron is honestly even a 0. Like their team total is less than the Steelers this week. Like they're just a dead football institution.
Yeah, the O-line looks rough. The defense looks rough. Bowers smash, Debo get well soon. Gibson, he was playing. Like I think it was kind of fluky.
I think he scored 10 points because he had a big long run.
Yeah,
but I mean, we know what we're doing there.
And at worst, like seeing how involved Ramondre is, like if Ramondre misses games, like
yeah,
you could get that.
He and Chase Brown are the same thing now, just handcuffs.
Kelsey, that's like Kincaid. Just
I'm not sweating. The only tight end that I'm actually sweating right now is Andrews because Andrews might just be different physically in a way that I didn't anticipate. But yeah, Kelsey, it is what it is. Interesting that I guess I have so much Stafford because I have so much Cup. I just wouldn't have guessed that I would have had that much Stafford.
Yeah, I think Kelsey is helped a little bit by Hollywood missing the season. Like he's at worst going to be the third target. He's going to have big games. And I view him the same as like Kincaid, where it's like, I don't know, man. The Andrew stuff, he had a better day, but I was worried about the tightrope. We'll see how true that is. Anything else you want to look at here? Roster combos?
No, it's just so depressing.
You want to look at any low drafted players? Name some players, Chat or Davis.
No, I did. I want to look at the combos because I didn't see where Worthy and Mahomes was because it's not in the top 20 most common pairings. And I want to see if I'm one of the top drafters of it. I hope I am. No, I'm not.
Are you Doozy?
Okay, that guy, Doozy, wherever you are, you know ball, brother.
Doozy is watching this right now. We know it. Doozy, tell us in the chat.
Yeah, I'm not even. That's just so embarrassing, dude.
I guess my version would be Allen and Kincaid. But I didn't I don't know. I have Allen, but he was expensive, so. Renegades.
Who is that? That's
he's he drafts pretty extreme.
I see him in all the rooms.
I'm 11. Get those numbers up. Anything else? How about Chase Brown and Worthy? You got to be top of the list.
How about Chase Brown, Worthy, and Dontavian Wicks? I bet I'm number one on that. Got to be number one.
These three guys.
Oh my God, Bobby Gomes, RotoGrinder's own Bobby Gomes.
I guess mine would be like Moss, Kincaid, and maybe Jerome Ford. I don't really know. No, wow. I'm not even. Just Moss and Kincaid.
Brutal scenes.
9. What if you need these guys? Anything else?
You know what I would do right now? I'd trade every Rome team for a JSN team.
I wouldn't trade everyone, but I would definitely want to even that out. Like
it's also Gino has looked awesome.
Yeah. Let's who is the Jackson Smith Najigba bull? Let's find out. Cleveland.
Slime
And
Santana. Slime Santana. He watches these shows.
shout out Slime Santana. Any other players you're curious about?
See who the number 1 Drake May drafter was. See if it's Karain or Sacrilegious.
It's never gonna be one of those guys. It's always gonna be someone who listens to a stream and like far one ups them. You know, like
Yeah.
I was really into Jordan Mason, but then you have guys like Bolick who save all their bullets and you know, they're like, oh, good point. I haven't drafted any teams, so let me go get that guy.
Yeah.
Kind of surprised the number is as low as 58 for the number 1 drafter, you know? Drake May. Slime Santana, man.
Daily Rojo. Pat is for real, dude. Pat knows ball. 70 and Sacrilegious has 58.
How about Kendrick Bourne? Because I think he can be something, man. Especially with the wide receivers not generating targets.
I'm hoping. I was gonna say I hope my name doesn't show up on Kendrick Bourne.
I have like 12 teams or something. I'm somewhere in here. Hey, look at us, dude.
God, look at us.
Look at us.
People think we're so different. We're not so different, you and I.
If you don't have 12 Kendrick Bourne teams, are you even living, guys?
No, definitely not. If you don't have 12 Kendrick Bourne teams, you are most definitively not living.
People, dude, if I could just copy and paste my best ball exposures from last year to this year, I had a lot of Alec Pierce, I had a lot of Jameson Williams, I had a lot of Jackson Smith. I don't know, don't have as much as them. Alec Pierce on 1899 teams. So guys, the way you can do that, like for example, Jordan Mason is found on if we refresh this, 23,396. So what you do is you look up a player like CeeDee Lamb, who was drafted at 100%, and then you divide 2396 divided by 56056, and you get 42% Jordan Mason drafted in the contest. So that's how you can figure out how many times he was drafted. Man, can you running so hot to get CeeDee Lamb this amount of times? Hit him with the gritty. Shout out. CeeDee Lamb was my 101, and I only have like, I don't know, barely any. Let's do some down bads before we move on, Davis. Christian McCaffrey, pour one out for these guys. Here's a down bad for you. Had the worst Monday of their lives the other day. AOL 19. 121 price. Yeah.
That's crazy, dude. That is nuts. That is truly insane.
Any down bads you want me to look up? I guess Tua would be one.
Tua, yeah. That's crazy too.
That's
like
insane.
Yeah, that seems legitimately insane.
This guy has one of the highest advance rates in the contest too right now, because he's got a lot of Kamara. Let's find our Kamara bulls.
Takes one to know one, I guess.
This is the opposite of pour one out. This is a fist pump. Better than AOL. That's hilarious. Hirsch, dude. Wow. And Wizard. Any other pour one outs here, Davis?
Do that one. Do Kamara with Mason.
These people are crushing. Also, I want to look at J.K. Dobbins. I want to see the J.K. Dobbins bowl. Cold Drinks has got 7 of them. And
wow.
Mifitlia. Dobbins.
Shout out to anyone who
Swedish woman fan. I mean, got good taste and good draft picks. Like,
that's so funny.
What a wild name. Zamir for the down bad. That's a good one.
I mean, I was gonna say who's doing this though? God damn. Zamir White, Kyle Pitts. Kyle Pitts is a down bad one.
Pitts is down bad because it's like with Kelsey and Kincaid, I can make cases.
Yeah, you can't make a case.
With Pitts, it's Bitcoin, Hirsch, and good luck.
That guy Bitcoin is in like every battle royale I do.
Yeah. Christian Kirk. Christian Kirk's not that level of down bad, man. But
I think he's just as down bad, honestly.
Okay, how many PPR points will Christian Kirk average this season?
I don't know, like 11.
that like he was 13 last year. So like that, if it's 11, he's not down bad. If it's 7, that's down bad. Christian Kirk. Any other down bads, chat? Deontay Johnson, Puka.
Deontay Johnson just got saved.
Puka's more just unlucky, man.
Yeah.
Let's look at Andy Dalton. I think down bads more have to do with process versus running an injury. There are 3 Andy Dalton teams, and Waldman did it twice.
Dude knows ball.
Russell Wilson. Oh, that's a good one. Let's do Fields and Wilson. Okay, Fields, dude. I put this tweet out the other day. How many games above 25 points this season? Because we're not seeing fantasy goodness from Fields. What's your number there?
Wait, say that again.
How many games will Justin Fields have above 25 points this year?
3.
I mean, that'd be pretty good in only 15 games left, you know?
Yeah.
Wizard has got Tua and Russell and Kamara. So that's a perfect example of some give and take. Let's look up FFB Wizards, where we brought up Kamara being a super high advance rate guy right now, but they're also more likely to draft Russell Wilson. Okay, so this guy's got Tua, Darnell Mooney, Marvin Mims, Alvin Kamara is keeping everything afloat. Look at these exposures. Russell, dead.
It does just go to show you.
Odell.
Nothing is solved yet. You know, if the guy who just took 30% of Odell Beckham Jr. also has 60% Alvin Kamara, then maybe it's going to be okay.
And what did we say? The Alvin Kamara guy is a Derrick Henry bull.
Yeah.
You know, like we knew these things. He does have some good players though. Jaden Reed, Jelani Woods, pour one out. Hopkins, of course. Kate Otten.
Well, I'd hope he had some good players.
Shout out. I mean, he literally is the highest advance rate guy this year right now. Of course, that's going to change with Tua and co. And I think he was a 50% advance rate guy last year. So shout out FF Wizard.
Shout out
Davis,
to
anything
FF
else
Wizard.
you want to see on BBMDB before we move on?
No, I didn't have anything else.
All right. So we're going to jump into doing some daily drafts on Underdog Fantasy. Promo code Cheslium or Davis Mattek to get up and running there. So Davis, last week you poo-pooed my double 49ers. You can't draft Kittle. You can't draft Mason. I think, you know, we saw now, of course, it's whatever, it's random, but the bigger point I wanted to bring up is with everything being so wonky with passing and scoring everything, there's so few teams going off each week. Does this make individual game stacks more viable to you? Does this make drafting?
No, that literally makes it harder for team stacks to get there, I feel.
Well, my mindset is like all the games are dudding out. If you nail the one game that goes off, so okay, yeah, we only saw Mason, Debo, and Kittle both get to around 20, but some weeks those guys are going to get to 30. And then we saw the week before, we saw Godwin and Evans and White get there all kind of equal. But some weeks they're going to smash and no one's going to separate. So basically you needed Kamara to actually win last week. But if you took Kamara and Mason and Kittle, like I think you were fine. What's your take on that?
My take is that I am still not doing it, really. I'm still like I guess there's an argument to do it this week with Stroud and his 2 guys. The thing that you kind of have to realize is like being price sensitive in these is kind of stupid because of the way that the combos present themselves.
But you like wanted me to draft like, I don't know, Colby Parkinson over George Kittle because we had Jordan Mason. And my point is that like at a certain point, you're just getting a guy.
So at tight end, I think you can get away with it more than double stacking wide receivers. That is true.
Okay, so we're changing a little bit there. We're gonna do a mix here, guys. The dog bowl, we're doing that one first, just because it allows Davis and I to talk more versus rapidly firing off $5 battle royales. How'd the battle royales go for you, man? I didn't win anything. I didn't have Kamara? How has it gone for you?
I had a
did you
bunch of
match?
I had a bunch of Marvin Harrison Jr. and Kyler. I just didn't end up with a Marvin Harrison Jr., Kyler, Kamara. I did actually have like 25 Kamara teams, but just not none of the right combos.
I swapped my like main DFS lineup, and I had Marvin and Elijah Higgins in there, who scored that touchdown. Didn't
Wow.
matter. Didn't cash because Kamara, of course, buried. So, and I'm assuming we did not win the dog bowl for the one we split last week.
No, that's a good. It was ass.
Homer thinks 69. That must have been Soccer Dave's burner over there.
One thing I know about Soccer Dave, he doesn't have enough time to be running a burner account. Soccer Dave.
I don't know if you saw this, but one of the features they let you see is how many times you drafted with someone, like your buddy list. And
oh yeah.
So I looked up your buddy list just out of interest. You know, of course it's Pete and Soccer Dave, both at like 14 teams. So
probably JGFC. Up there.
He is like in Pete's, like, you know, Pete's of course streamed all his drafts or most of them, so he has like an insane buddy list.
Yeah,
my buddy list is like, Davis, you and I actually drafted 3 times against each other, twice randomly in the morning.
I was gonna say kind of randomly
jumped on, and then we did the one whatever it's called.
The Rams are saying they're not putting Kupp on IR.
Yeah, okay, so that gives them an out to, like, still he's probably not going to return for 4 weeks. I get the bigger question for me is like, what level is he going to return at? You know, like, I think CMC when he returns, he'll be roughly himself. I think Debo when he returns will roughly be himself. Puka as well, like Kupp. I don't know, man. Maybe it's just age. I'm saying that.
Well, yeah, he's less likely to recover well as a 900-year-old. You know, that's just that's the nature of the beast.
It's pinned in my Discord, Brian. BBMDB.
BBMDB.
How do you think the Andy Dalton era is gonna go for?
I mean, it'll definitely be better. The thing that I am hoping for myself is that Xavier Legette gets to have a couple ceiling games, because I believe that is the only Panther I drafted more than like 5 times.
Yeah, I got Legette. I'm kind of like my best ball mania exposures. I thought I drafted a lot of Jonathan Brooks, but apparently not in best ball mania. I drafted him more on like drafters or whatever. So I only have like 4 or 6 teams, but I think Brooks can definitely be a smash later in the year, especially if the offense is somewhat functional. Like, okay, smash, maybe not, but scoring you 20 points, you know? Well, I did one of these earlier in the week, and Achan's ADP was like in the 2nd round, which I thought was kind of crazy.
Yeah, he's like 7.5 right now.
Yeah. Quite like Zach Charbonnet on the other side of this game too, where I wrote about this going into the year. The Dolphins front 7, they lost a lot of talent. They got just straight up bullied against the Bills.
They got killed, man.
Yeah. And so even though Charbonnet's not really been efficient, I think he's a pretty decent dart throw. Minnesota, we know, likes to blitz a lot, so I'm definitely going to be looking up who the Texans historically targeted last year versus the blitz via Nico or Tank. I think they're pretty equal in my memory, but I don't know. Where are you feeling at the 110 here? I think we got a lot of places to go. We can go.
Running back is really brutal this week. Scrolling down at running back is super brutal. It gets thin quick.
Like Pollard's good, Charbonnet's good, but yeah, I hear you there. Where it's like, I mean, even Swift against Indy, man. Like if he doesn't go to 0, they've gotten destroyed on the ground. But I'm assuming you're saying you want a tie break towards Gibbs.
Slight tie break towards Gibbs. A-Chain would have been who I really wanted, but yeah, I think Gibbs is who I prefer.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I like Detroit seems like a really good run defense, and getting ahead of the, I mean, this is not DFS, so, but like getting ahead of the Marvin is still super expensive in DFS land, so he's tempting, but yeah, I don't need to be convinced on Gibbs, really ever. I like to see that he's getting these targets. He's gonna have some blow up games. Maybe we get it this week.
Yeah, this format, I'm not nearly as good at this
We'll
format.
get into the rapid six mans in a little bit.
Well, I think this is more of a player takes game. Like this is more of a this guy's gonna have a good game, this guy's gonna have a bad game format. And Battle Royale is more of a structure theory game. And I've just been spending so much time thinking about that.
There's a lot of game theory in this. Like the bigger the draft, actually, I don't know. Like there's game theory in both. But why does this guy go Kyler and Smith? I don't know. McBride correlates. We're going Ayuk. Ayuk's in a smash here.
Yeah, I would have taken McBride, but that's fine. I think McBride or Bowers are, I think, kind of the skeleton keys to shipping it this week.
Yeah, I mean, I like McBride. I don't think he's gonna fall on a touchdown in the end zone each week. Like he was, after Kincaid, I drafted him the second most just because he was cheap, and I didn't. I think he's good. But Ayuk, man, like I don't know, like just firing up stacks with like Purdy, Mason, Ayuk, Purdy, Mason, Kittle, Purdy, Kittle, Ayuk seems pretty tempting this week and for the future with no Debo, no CMC. What's your read on the 49ers in the short term?
Aren't you worried that Brock Purdy is going to turn into a pumpkin?
No, dude. He's literally the league passing leader in yards.
You're not worried about Pumpkin Purdy?
I'm not.
I'm a little worried about Pumpkin Purdy.
I think what are you going off of there other than that you probably don't like him, or I don't know. Like is it that you just like Debo that much that Purdy can't succeed without him, or I'm trying to read this angle from you?
Yeah, it's that Debo is the straw that stirs the drink, and without the straw.
Go ahead.
Yeah, just that schematically, Debo is the one that is most important to what they do with his motion and his yak and his maneuverability. Ayuk is probably a better quote unquote wide receiver than Debo, but Debo is a better football player. And the replacement level is really bad. Ronnie Bell, Chris Conley, and Jacob Cowing are definitely sub. Jennings. Well, Jennings has already been playing.
Yeah, but my opinion there is that Debo is the easy button. So Debo is the guy where, sure, you throw Debo the 2-yard pass and you just go get to your first down. Like he is that. He is their H-Chan, if you would, for the Dolphins. But I think the 49ers are still going to be able to run the football, hit play action, and like Ayuk got bracketed at a high rate against the Vikings. So clearly defenses still think these guys are important. And didn't we just see all the deep burners destroy the Rams? Maybe it's a little too simple to assume, like maybe the Rams are like, hey, we're not going to get beat deep. But I don't know, man. I don't think you have that liberty against the 49ers. Like you have to stack the box against them. And I think Kittle can be a Debo. Like he's not as shifty. He's like kind of a more powerful Debo. But if you want to give those like 2-yard passes and have him go get yak, I think you can have Kittle do that for you.
Yeah, I mean, I'm much more into Kittle than Ayuk. I mean, I am a hater. It's well noted. It's out there in the universe. I am a hater of Brandon Ayuk. I think history will prove me right in the end that I was right to do so. And I'm also a Purdy hater. That's just I just love to hate, man. I just love to do it.
I don't think you hate these guys. I think you love Debo so much that you.
It's true. It's true.
You're trying
really
to bend it so that like everyone is a byproduct of Debo Samuel.
Well, it's all a byproduct of Kyle Shanahan, and it's just certain guys fit Shanahan's the cut of his jib a little better is the deal. That is my opinion.
And I think Jacob, really unfortunate Ricky Pearsall was shot mainly because he was shot, but also because we don't get to see him play football where
right.
But like Jacob Cowling, man, like there was a little bit of rumbling about him. So I wouldn't be like, he kind of profiles, I guess, more as like a Ayuk-ish guy.
He was a really good college player, but he was a 5-year college player and he's really small.
I would take Tank Dell over Waddle.
I would take. That's very close. That is very close.
With the QB injury, I don't think it's that close for me. But I mean, Waddle's still going to have games. Like if you're talking in a start-sit league, though, I think it will be hard to know when. What's your vibe here, Davis?
Neighbors, I like.
Number one wide receiver in fantasy so far.
Sure.
Tank Dell, I like him too.
I like. Stroud's already gone though.
So we go Richardson and Tank.
I actually like Diggs more this week, but I don't care.
For the revenge game.
Literally, yeah. I mean, you want to talk about a situation where
we auto drafted Godwin.
Classic. There are definitely 3 plays that are being scripted up by the Texans coaching staff this week that is designed to get Stephon Diggs the ball.
Yeah, probably. Like I know Tank will have games. I think Diggs will have games. I still think Diggs is third on the Texans for the season.
Yeah. I think I believe that. I believe that as well.
Are you cool with Purdy here, or would you rather go?
No, like I mean we made the bet. You gotta don't think you want, because the other thing with Ayuk is he's not gonna get there on 4 receptions in this game. I don't think so. You're gonna kind of want to bring some volume, which
I don't know, man. Didn't we see Marvin Harrison Jr. get there on 6? Like,
I mean, I'm sorry.
He did that all in the first quarter.
Sorry to tell you this. Brandon Ayuk is not Marvin Harrison Jr.
Oh my God. How many yards do you think Brandon Ayuk had last year?
I know it because I ran a filter the other day for wide receivers with over 1,300 yards and less than 110 targets.
Yeah. Okay. So he had 1,300 yards last year, and he's just this like cast off to you.
No, he's a really good player, but again, kind of perfect circumstances. The volume is going to have to go up. This was a pro Purdy argument, not an anti Purdy one, which is that the volume will have to be a little bit higher.
Let's pull up the top 10 passing quarterbacks in yards in the NFL. But before we do that, let's both guess because I've not looked it up. I do know who number 1 is. I don't know who the rest are. So Purdy is 1. 2.
I assume Carr is in there. Yeah.
Yeah, Carr. 3.
I really don't even have a guess. Yeah.
Stroud.
Maybe Stroud.
4. Like I don't remember how many yards Kyler passed in week 1.
Stafford maybe.
No.
Goff.
No.
Goff threw 55 times.
Yeah, Goff then. Goff's in there. Mahomes is probably in there, or maybe he's not.
No, he had 140 yards last week. I don't think so.
Well, him and Josh are not then. Richardson's definitely not. Kyler's probably in there. God, is Gardner Minshew in there, dude?
That would be really funny if he was.
He definitely, a Baker is definitely in there.
Baker is in there. How many 300-yard passing
Geno's
games? How many 300-yard passing games? It feels like none. To me, it feels like no 300-yard passing games have happened. Stafford, yeah, he's number 2.
33. Wow. Minshew's 3?
And they were worried. They were worried about his quarterback play.
Lamar, Geno, Stroud, Tua, Darnold, Mayfield, Prescott, Hurts. Carr is 13, man. Wow. Dude, Olave's in a generational smash spot.
Yes, he is.
If the Saints are this level of good and he's not been producing, What are we gonna get if the Eagles can? Dude, can we talk about the Eagles game? What are you doing losing that game? Like, how do you not go for it at the end there? Like, why do you kick that field goal?
Really embarrassing stuff. Really, really embarrassing stuff from Nick Sirianni and the Philadelphia Eagles.
Just doesn't make any sense. Like you convert the first, it's over. You kick the field goal and you can lose. Like, come on.
And yeah, it's just like so anti their ethos,
Davis, this is not coming on your channel. Would you trade Devonta Smith for Connor and Diggs, have Ford and Zamir as my RB2s, and have Waddle, Amon-Ra, Amari Cooper, and Brian Thomas as wide receivers?
I would not do that.
So it's like, do you want James Conner enough to downgrade from Smith to Diggs? Brad, I think it's defensible in my opinion.
It's defensible.
But I think Devonta is your second best wide receiver on your team right now, especially with Waddle. Like, try to trade Connor and Waddle, or try to trade Waddle away for just Connor straight up, maybe. I don't know, man. Connor smashing. I don't have a lot of him. I have more Trey Benson, but probably.
There are just only so many wide receivers who can get 7 for 76 and a touchdown in a game in the NFL right now, and that list is pretty low.
Let's do Ken Walker.
Who's your swap plan?
Oh no, not Ken Walker. I meant Charbonnet. He's gone.
He's gone.
We need a player here, Davis.
Rashad White.
Yeah.
I don't even.
Well, no, we have Godwin. Let's do
Najee.
Dalton Schultz, tight end. We'll figure it out. Najee?
That was a panic pick. We will not be. I fear we will not be winning the dog bowl.
I think Schultz is a defensible pick. We didn't take Tank. We didn't take Nico, so we're leveraging off of it.
The right panic pick is Taysom Hill.
Yeah, he's always a good pick, but we just saw Kittle get there against the Vikings. Why not Dalton Schultz, dude? People are saying.
Because he doesn't get targets.
He's running routes though, so like we got that. We'll
always have the routes. At the end of the day.
Any chance Mixon plays this week? Probably
no
not.
Practice for him or Dameon Pierce today. We could take Cam Akers and just really own the libs.
I think Zamir White is a real own the libs play too.
Najee is an own the libs play too.
No, how about Jalen Warren? People are going to do Najee. They're not going to do Jalen
Warren. Sure. Yeah, I'm never going to say no to Jalen Warren.
Jaden Reed, too cute.
Jaden Reed is a really good pick in these because he's not going to be 100% drafted.
We're doing Warren. Warren is all, like Reed and Warren are both sub 1% drafted players.
Well, not if Jordan Love comes out of practice and is like, I'm playing, he's going to get drafted in a ton of these.
Oh yeah. I mean, I'm not viewing that as a realistic possibility, especially with them winning the game. Like, why not just give them an extra week? All right, Davis, that's our dog bowl. Let's get into these.
The dog bowls the dog bowls just feel terrible. Like, I don't know if they are terrible, but they just feel terrible. You know what I mean?
I would say you feel great about your battle royales because they're 6-man drafts.
Exactly.
But there's probably so many teams that are dead because they are straight duping each other. As far as
that's why you got to scroll, baby. That's why you got to click Najee Harris in a 6-man draft.
Well, okay, but you could have just drafted him in a 12-man draft. Like, I'm not saying, you can build some heavily duped teams. Shout out our friend Ron, dude. Ron only did a couple of these, and I think he got won $1,000 or something. So, and he had a dupe, a team that was live to be duped. He didn't scroll in my mind. Maybe he got unique at the top or something.
You gotta scroll a little bit. I think scrolling a little bit is necessary.
I was hot on these. I said CeeDee Lamb was my 101. We got that.
We're hot on Marvin Harrison Jr. enough, though, brother.
I
That's
didn't
the
do
magic sauce.
He really was. He was a generational tournament play.
Lamar, Waddle, and Ford for what the fuck is this trade? Lamar, Waddle, and Ford for Baker, Brian. I don't want any of those players on the right. I literally don't want one of those players on the right.
Yeah, do not trade Lamar Jackson for Baker Mayfield. Let me help you out there.
Or Waddle for Drake London. Brad's wheeling and dealing.
Brad's like, I found this channel with 400 views. Let me get my edge here. How about that? How are you seeing this Chargers game play out, man? I hope they can get pushed.
It gets done in about 90 minutes because each team is negative 20 pass.
I've got next. Who do you want here? Achane?
Achane or Jefferson is who I take here.
Glad to see you diversifying from your best ball portfolio.
Well, there actually are a couple big spots here where you can diversify from your best ball portfolio, but not there.
No. How many targets did Jefferson get last week?
I only threw like 25 times and he left, so probably like 6. Let's see. I honestly don't even know the answer to that question.
7. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about, where it's like, okay, Justin Jefferson's really good at football, but this seems like a little negative regression candidate for me. 6 targets, 4.
I agree. Him catching less than 4 passes in a game, less than his career average. I agree. That should regress, Liam. I do agree with you.
Marvin?
Yeah, you do get into a tricky. So take him, but you do get into a tricky spot where we are now competing. One of these turn team drafters is really likely to take Kyler.
Do you think Marvin's DraftKings salary, which is still like
7,400, right? It's
like Nico Collins level. Like, do you think this is correct, or do you think he's overpriced? Or like, I think people would be jamming him if he's 6K.
He's a little overpriced relative to like his target volume, but I think early on, like the first 8 weeks of his career this season, it'll be like that. Like there'll be some games where he gets 3 catches, but
I don't think it's a good thing when you're getting 6 targets with no Jordan Addison and no TJ Hawkinson on the field. Like, maybe
you mean Justin Jefferson? I thought you were talking about Marvin Harrison Jr. No, this is Liam. You're being insane.
No, I asked you about Marvin, but then I retorted to that.
So Darnold, I take Kyler here.
Yeah.
Darnold,
because they're going to give us Kyler,
has thrown 26 and 24 passes in 2 giant wins, like unquestioned wins where they were not being pushed at all. That is about to change.
Yeah, they have a tough schedule upcoming, right?
They go home to the Texans, at the Packers, home to the Jets, home to the Lions, at the Rams, home to the Colts. So we're about to see 35 pass attempts from Darnold instead of 24.
Texans D look legit, man. Like, I doubt it's going to matter, but Derek Stingley versus Justin Jefferson, that should be a fun corner wideout matchup. I passed on Kyler, assuming no one would go naked Kyler. Tricks on me.
You haven't been in these streets, so now we're fucked.
No, because we'll go Purdy and we'll grab Laporta.
Sure.
I don't think we're fucked. Instead, we get an elite tight end. I wouldn't be panicking on Laporta. I definitely think all the Lions are worse with Jameson Williams emerging, in the fact that it's just hard to know who's going to go off in a given week. And Laporta was already a negative, he was going to regress to the mean a little bit, where he ran insanely hot on touchdowns last year. So that's why I didn't think it was insane to not take him as tight end 1. But this is also not who Laporta is. Like, he's going to have some games where he catches touchdowns and scores 20 points. The Vikings should not be favored over Houston. I don't know. That's overrating a singular win. Should the Raiders be favored in all their games because they beat the Ravens? No. It's the NFL. Chaotic things occur.
Could take Sharps now.
I was going to say Olave.
Sure. I don't ever take 3 wide receiver teams, really.
Yeah, I don't think the field is either. So we're getting a little wonky there.
No, they are.
Because okay. 2 RB. Let's see
70% of the field are just clicking buttons.
Okay. And if you're clicking buttons, you're clicking running backs. The button clickers like Derrick Henry.
Okay. Good point. Good point. Yeah. In my experience, I think people are definitely worse at Battle Royale than they are, for example, at like salary cap DFS. And people are pretty bad at salary cap DFS.
While we're talking through this, let's pick through the I'm going to read out the spreads and let's pick the winner.
All right.
I'll pull it up. But first, let's get our quarterback here. I think it's between Carr and Purdy.
I like Purdy better. Yeah.
Yeah, I think he's going to be drafted less with the Saints. Love. Jared Goff was also defensible there. I'll fire up another one. I want to see Underdog push these to 50K to first. I feel like they could, you know?
I think they like doing like a bunch of contests, you know? Like they like having they have like 20 contests in the lobby or whatever.
All right, getting this to populate on my end.
But I do agree with you. 50K to first, more entries would be sick.
Yeah, I don't know. Just like a 30K sick, obviously. 50K also, I don't know, it's just like a number that sticks out to people. Jets and Pats. The Jets are favored by 7.5. Where are you going?
I would take the Pats at 7.5. I don't think that's the right number, is it?
Oh, it's down to 6.5. My bad.
Yeah.
Opened at 7.5.
I think I'm on Patriots either way, but 7.5 is 7.5 would be kind of a jam.
I think I'd take the Jets with the logic being that Jets minus the points, with the logic being that if this game was played week 1, the line would have been like minus 14. And since we've seen the Pats play 2 close games, they're getting this line, and they're, they could collapse at any moment. But I would agree, just like seeing how they played, they have played close. So here's one. The Bears are 1.5 point dogs to the Colts.
Yeah, I got the Bears side.
Hell yeah. Give me the Bears. I mean, dude, the Colts just lost to Malik Willis, and how you feeling here?
Jefferson, Nico, A-Chain, Mason. Let's do Mason, actually. Let's do Mason.
Mason? Cool. We've got a lot of the 49ers passing game, so let's play the run game. Yeah, I'm taking the Bears, man. And do you think the Colts are allowing the most rushing yards in the league? Of course, that's skewed by facing the Malik Willis-led Packers. Do you think that's how the Bears are going to, are they going to get Swift and Herbert and maybe even Roschon active?
Waldron doesn't even have that in him. You know what I mean? Like Waldron's not even processing it.
I don't know. Swift had 14 rushing attempts, only 18 yards, but he
negative 44 rushing yards over expectation for Swift in that game.
Rough. Yeah, I'm also taking the Bears. I would bet the Bears just straight up. Like, don't give me the points. That's one I would just try to bet straight up. I feel like we have to go Saquon here. With
just for combo reasons, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, not that there aren't teams that go Saquon Mason, but feels good. The Browns are 6.5 point favorites home against the Giants. I'm taking that one's hard.
I've got the Giants, and I'm in a pool, and I took the Giants.
This would be a pass for me if I was actually betting it, just because I don't know if I'm confident enough in the Browns to win by that much. But I would take I would just lean on how good the Browns defense is and hope that Daniel Jones can implode. And there's going to be one week.
I bet numbers, not teams, brother.
There's going to be 1 week though where a team takes away the neighbor's easy button, and then it's what are you doing on offense?
Motor Singletary, baby.
Titans 2.5-point home favorites, which means they would be
No,
not favored
I've got Packers here
against the Packers. Yeah, I think the Packers are a good bet just for the fact that you might get Jordan Love, but I would take Titans -2.5 if I knew Malik Willis was in there. I think the Titans D is just legit, man. Not to be the Soccer Dave echo, but they seem to have played well.
Yeah.
JJ
is at practice today, which is nice.
Nice. Saints 2.5-point home favorites against the Eagles. I'm taking the Eagles there.
I got Eagles.
Yeah, that one where it seems like let's just not overreact. I thought the Eagles' pass defense would be better this year. Hasn't really played out that way.
Bowers or McBride.
Sure. I don't think Bowers is going to be tight end 1. Like I think Bowers is a good pick, but I think that we're going to see the Kincaids of the world, the Kittles of the world. Kelsey's going to score. Like, I don't know, man. He's getting passing volume, but how many touchdowns will he score?
6 probably.
Yeah. So where would you rank Bowers rest of season tight ends?
I'm actually literally working on my rankings right now, and I've got him tight end 1, and I've got him in overall rankings next to McBride.
You have him over McBride?
It's like a total coin flip to me.
Come on, dude. I don't know. Like, I like Bowers. I just don't think we should crown him as the tight end 1 this year. But
I mean, that was like my opinion coming in, though, was that he had that in him. So it's just confirming what I already thought. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I mean, I knew I wasn't going to be surprised if the most talented tight end prospect of all time did well. And I would rank him like, I don't know, probably top 5-ish, and there is no tier break between tight end 1 and tight end 6 for me. This is
there definitely is for me. I think McBride and Bowers are in their own group right now.
I would like more sample than 2 weeks on that one. I think Kittle,
but you just gotta look at the usage.
You think Bowers is in a different tier than Sam Laporta?
Yeah, because he's clearly ahead of Jacoby Myers, and Sam Laporta is not clearly ahead of Jameson Williams.
Yeah, I just like Lions overall offense, I would bet on Laporta, So I don't think Bowers is a clear tier ahead of Laporta, Kincaid, Kittle, Kelsey. Kelsey, I'm not sure about with the age, but he is playing. So, and then also, I think I'd give him a tier ahead of Andrews easily, and then likely, I don't know, he didn't come down this week, but he should have some weeks as well. Let's go Flowers. Why not?
Yeah, I take one of Diggs or Dell on every team, right? I think this, by the way, is the optimal way to draft teams this week. Running back, tight end, then figure out quarterback. Because the scroll down running backs are just way worse than I can go down to wide receiver 30 and be like, oh yeah, that guy could hit optimals, but the running backs get thin quick.
Who do you want to play here? Shaheed, the lowest drafted of the group.
Yeah, I think Shaheed is bad in BR. That 100% drafted Rashid Shaheed feels terrible.
He's not 100% drafted.
30. He's probably 50% drafted. You're right.
That's the only reason I put him on the list.
I'd go JSN probably.
Okay, we'll choose one of these 3 guys.
Olave.
Okay. Let's do another one there. Read off the rest of the games.
I just don't want to get duped. I just imagine you.
Olave is a dupe lot out, but
well, so is Shaheed.
That's what. No, Shaheed, you're not getting duped on Shaheed there. He's only getting drafted 40% of the time. Steelers 1.5 home favorites to the Chargers. I want to roll with the Chargers.
Yeah, I got Chargers too. Although Herbert wasn't at practice today.
Texans 2.5-point road favorites over the Vikings. I would take the Texans.
I have the Vikings here.
This is just Justin Jefferson loyalty from you.
No, it's more about KOC, honestly.
We'll get to your super chat there. Mikolajic. Bucks 6.5 home favorites against the Broncos. I'm surprised this line's not bigger. I'm taking the Bucks.
I was gonna say I this is my survivor pick this week is the Bucks. I mean, I'm sure they're gonna be survivor chalk, but that's my favorite.
And they're like one of the blitz heaviest teams in the league. So like, how is Bo Nix going to do against that?
Pretty bad, I think.
Raiders 5.5 home favorites against the Panthers. Also surprised that line is what it is. I'm sure it was different, but I don't know. It opened -4, so it's grown to
I've got. I don't think Dalton is going to play that well.
Yeah, let's Raiders there, but
Yeah.
I don't know. Seahawks 4.5 home favorites against the Dolphins.
I got Seahawks. You could talk me into the Dolphins there, though. Like McDaniel just like creates this crazy game plan.
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna go with here. Just like the Dolphins, I don't know. It feels wrong, but just you give the ball to Achane. I think Tyreek is also a little QB proof, where you just give him like a 2.
Oh, he's definitely QB proof. Like you just give him a couple bubble screens. Like yeah.
Like even against the Bills there. Who are you feeling here?
I'll leave it up to you. I do like the running backs early, but St. Brown is obviously good too. Like, I don't think there's a bad pick.
Let's go, Monroe. 19 targets last week. Insane. I feel like that would be talked about more if we didn't see Kupp getting 21 targets. With the like even against the Bills, I thought if the all the Dolphins did was like backyard football of just like throw it to Achane or throw it to Tyreek in the route and make these guys play tag. I felt they could have kept the game close. So with the Dolphins being pretty desperate here, needing to win, I could see them just eking out first downs. And I don't know, man, like why the Seahawks only win by 3 against the Patriots? Like what's
Patriots are scrappy, dude.
They are. Unfortunate. Let's get your guy there.
Yeah, that feels nice.
Definitely sets us up for Tank or Diggs later as well. The Lions are 3-point favorites on the road against the Cardinals. I'd take the Lions there.
Yeah, I got Cardinals here. The disrespect for Kyler Murray, man. It's
No, I believe in the Kyler stuff. It's just I don't believe in the rest of the Cardinals roster, and I don't think they've faced a team like
their defense is brutal. Their defense is absolutely brutal.
I just think the Lions are going to be able to impose their will on the ground, and what are the Cardinals going to do about it? The 49ers 7.5-point road favorites against the Rams.
I want to take the Rams just on the principle, but I can't.
Yeah. That one where it's like, man, because we saw the Rams play the 49ers tough last year, where it really just
they always do. They
with
always
Kyron, with Puka, with Kupp, and it's like I feel like Stafford could do it if he wants to. But yeah, I would take the 49ers. That one opened, by the way, at 2.5. It's been bet to 7.5. Isn't that kind of insane?
I mean, opened on Sunday at 2.5.
This is what I'm reading off of Fantasy Lab, so I don't know when they pull that, but
yeah, that seems crazy.
Yeah, I don't because like that's when we already knew Kupp was injured. Maybe we didn't know the degree then.
Yeah.
One of the last couple games here, Ravens are 1-point favorites on the road against the Cowboys.
I got the Ravens.
I think
I got the Ravens.
I think I want to take the Cowboys, man. Just like
this is just such an annoying spot.
This
is probably a good spot to take Hurts and take Goddard.
I was gonna say or Stroud, and we just take Tank or Diggs next.
You're the boss, man. It's your account. But I'm not doing 3 wide receivers hardly at all.
Okay, well we're getting some here. I agree with you in general. I prefer 2 RB on half point, but I also think
the scoring
Sharp field will.
The scoring sets up better, half PPR for running backs, and the NFL is giving all its fantasy points to running backs too.
And I think anyone with a Twitter account or who is kind of sharp knows that as well. And so, and some of this stuff will go back to the mean. And it's like 2 of our wide receivers are Amon-Ra and Jefferson. And we know, like, can Tank score 30 points this week? Yes or no?
Of course he can. It's a matter of probability.
Well, I mean, we're telling a story in this lineup, brother. Let's get our running back out of the way first, though.
Let's do Kyron.
I
Or
think
Pollard's good. Yeah, Pollard's
like
good.
Pollard should be going over a lot of these guys, I feel.
Yeah.
Especially with Spears questionable.
Let's answer that. Let me answer this super chat real
Oh,
quick.
yeah.
You have Fields and Love, Hall, A-Chain, Dowdle, Allen, Irving, Neighbors, Rice, Adams, Dell,
People in
J-Mo,
Davis's
Rome.
chat, please write your questions cleaner because I don't know what we're looking
Fields
at here.
and J-Mo for Hurts, right? No, I would not do that. I just keep J-Mo. Just keep J-Mo.
All right, I'm not putting an ounce into interpreting that. So Davis says no. Yeah, on the Cowboys front, I don't know, man. They're playing at home. Ravens have been
I don't
by
think
the
this
pass.
is true. I'm pretty sure this guy in chat is telling a dishonesty. I don't think a 3 wide receiver team won.
Okay, well, I don't really care about a singular example.
Well, I don't want to be lied to, so I need to look.
Okay.
Yeah, I just want it on the record. You can't lie to me in my own chat. I'm literally looking at it. 2 running back, 2 wide receiver. Please don't lie to me.
About a different contest. Davis, here's a generational betting opportunity for you. Chiefs 3.5 point road favorites against the Falcons.
Crazy, right?
I mean, what is that line?
Chiefs stink, bro.
Is that just that like Bijan is gonna move the ball? Like,
I think it is just a general lack of belief in the Chiefs, and the Chiefs have not blown out either of these games yet. You know,
is it like respect to the Falcons for beating the Eagles in like a boneheaded way?
I'm sure a little bit of it is Cousins. You know,
he looked bad until 2-minute drill though. Like once the 2-minute drill looked good and you didn't have to think.
Quarterbacks always kind of look more comfortable in the 2-minute drill. Yeah. But and Mahomes is doing this new thing where he throws the worst interception you've ever seen twice a game. So that doesn't seem great.
We're going Tank over Diggs. Although going Justin Jefferson and Diggs just for the trade synergy is really getting in there.
I can't believe that of all people, I thought you would be sold hook, line, and sinker on Diggs in his first game back in Minnesota since the trade.
I don't know, man. I just think Tank Dell is legitimately one of the best wide receivers in football, and I don't know what Diggs still is. Like, I think Diggs is capable, but he didn't really pop off the second half of the year. I wasn't sure if that was like getting hit in the ribs in the Jags game or what, but I just think Tank is better than Diggs at this point. Last game, I'm choosing the Chiefs -3.5 if anyone needed that one. I assume Davis is too. Bills 5.5 point favorites against the Jags. I'm choosing Buffalo.
Yeah, I agree.
But, you know, I think the Jags, they beat the Bills last year. They should be better looking. And then the Bengals are 7.5 point home favorites against the Commanders. Give me the Bengals.
I don't know about that one. I think I'd be Commanders there.
I like likely. Dalton Schultz won't get drafted at all.
Probably on this team, it's Schultz.
Yeah, let's do it, man. Why not? Don't dupe us, guys. Gabe Davis revenge game, people are saying. Are you guys worried Kupp isn't going to be back at all this year? It's not even that. I would just be more worried about like how healthy is he when he returns. And yeah, it's like, I don't know, if the Rams are 0-5, what are you doing?
I'm really concerned that every Ram just goes to 0. Like this is just the total year of hell for them.
Not Jordan Whittington, brother. He's gonna, or
Jordan Whittington, yeah.
You like Corum outs, man, where the Rams just pack it up. The thing about Kupp is I think he has like a $30 million cap hit. Like you can't keep that on your team, you know?
Well, they're super fucked cap wise anyways.
Yeah, which is fine if you're going to compete for the Super Bowl, but not if you are looking at a reset. So 49ers called a loss. Bears game.
Sure.
They need to win that one.
Yeah.
Packers.
They're dead, dude. They're dead. The Rams are dead.
They have like if they can upset this week and then win against the Bears and then you get Cup
They're not
back.
they're not gonna upset this week. They definitely can beat the Bears. They definitely can beat the Packers, but they're definitely losing this week.
I don't know, man. You could see Stafford put it. I wouldn't bet it, but you could see Stafford put him on the back. I'm never going to be surprised to see that. Like, and I think we're going to see some fantasy fun out of Whittington or Atwell or Demarcus Robinson.
Yeah, Demarcus
I'm
Robinson.
a Caleb
for
Williams
sure.
lover, bro. I've drafted him so much. I reverse mushed myself to the DraftKings Sportsbook community.
Terrifying to get looped in there.
I don't want to trade away AJ Brown, but you're getting two talented players. So if I needed the depth, like if I'm upgrading from Gabe Davis to Tank Dell, then maybe I would.
Right. I think that's where I'd be at too.
Do I drop Chase Brown for Jonathan Brooks? I would do that. Yes.
For sure.
Chase Brown is a drop in managed if you don't play in like FFPC leagues where there's nothing to drop him for.
Yeah, to 20 man rosters or whatever.
Yeah. If you're in like a 10-man league or even like a casual 12-man league with like shallow benches, you can drop Chase Brown. Yeah, I mean, you can even drop guys like Zeke who are playing for, Pick'em. We'll end the show with the Pick'em. We almost hit on our Pick'em slip, by the way.
Did we?
Yeah. I'll pull it up or I'll read it off.
I hit an 8-legger last week, the first NFL 8-legger I've ever hit.
We're drafting Marvin Harrison in the first. Let's get weird. Hell yeah, dude. What'd that pay?
Like $1,100 ish. Because it was when you use one of the gimme picks or whatever, they don't let you do more than 10. But
nice.
Still fun.
Let me find this. What did we do?
God, dude, I have some FFPC teams that are so dead at running back, you just would not believe it.
Yeah, I do too. We could look at those if you want.
No, I need to get out of here soon. My puppy's been in the kennel for 2 hours, so she's probably pissed off.
All right, we'll call it here then. So here we did 6 picks. We got rescued on Cooper Kupp, 4 receptions. I don't know how that works.
If you get injured and leave in the first half, your slip gets rescued.
Okay, so we got rescued on him. We missed on Ayuk. We hit on CeeDee Lamb over 84.5 receiving yards. We hit on Trevor Lawrence under passing yards. We hit on the Jefferson touchdown. And we missed on Ayuk. But we were voided and refunded because of Kupp?
Because of Kupp.
So even if we hit the rest, we would have been voided and refunded, right?
No, it pays out. It pays out. It pays out like that leg is a miss, I believe.
So you get a free roll. You get a free roll it.
Yeah.
Over at Monroe? No, dude, we're not doing that. Come on. Marvin is playing Monroe.
I'm telling you, dude, structurally. Well, what do I know?
I don't know, dude. Like,
what do I know? You're the fantasy football millionaire, Liam.
You might as well play for the game where, I mean, literally, I won $1 million because of a Monroe and a bring back, and you're gonna sit here and be like, let's draft Jordan Mason. No, you play for this game to go. Marvin goes for 30, a Monroe goes for 30. We're gonna get a running back in there. Like, I like Jordan Mason too, but he's not that different than Tony Pollard, especially if there's no Tajay Spears. Like, okay, yeah, we like the 49ers running game better, but the problem with Mason is you can beat the Rams however you want. You can beat him at the tight end. You can beat him with Ayuk. You can beat him with Mason. So, I don't know. I could see the 49ers doing whatever they want.
True. That's true. Man, Steele is not out here in like any league. Oh, I did just find one where we had Steele.
I got Steele and P. Ryan on a team that's like already dead. Are we passing on Tyreek here, dude, for structure? He's
No,
third wide receiver though, Davis.
That's why you take Jordan Mason, brother.
No, dude. I think you just jam 2 first-round picks in fantasy. You forget about structure for a second, and you say, this guy was the consensus 103 all year. This guy was the consensus 106. We got the consensus 112 who just popped off in a correlated game. We'll get a different running back. I don't think you need to be passing. Like, you don't pass on whatever, Christian McCaffrey, Jamar Chase, Amon-Ra for structure, in my mind.
You're probably right. You're probably right. Doesn't feel good, but you are probably right.
We're not trying to feel good, dude. We're trying to ship 30K.
It's true.
I mean, we're trying to feel good and do that.
Okay, yeah, that is what we're trying to do. I have a bunch of these teams that are like dead at second quarterback. I have a lot of 2 quarterback teams this year in high stakes.
Hey, I do too.
Because if you didn't get one of the top 7 guys, the guy you have sucks.
Well, yeah, we have like, God, man, me, Ron, and Jacob built a super team except for one singular spot where, I don't know. Let's get running back here. JT?
Yeah.
See, we get Jonathan Taylor instead of Jordan Mason. We get another.
I think if I knew Jordan Mason was starting the rest of the year, I think I'd rather just take Jordan Mason straight up.
Okay, but like if we zoom out for a second here and we understand Jonathan Taylor was a borderline first-round pick in fantasy, and yeah, it's been bleak, but we know he's capable of like destroying a week, and we just saw Kamara, the like boring guy, do it. JT's not that level of boring, if you would, but yeah, me and Jacob and Ron's super team, man, like I wanted Rashee Rice. They were upset about me for something that I forget what decision I made that upset them. So they both made me draft Stephon Diggs when we already had Nico Collins. That's like why I wanted Rice. So that's why it just
tough scenes
stings a little bit. But we like that team's sick. We have Mason, we have J.K. Dobbins, we have Trey McBride. We just need to hope Diggs can ping pong it. I don't know.
I don't have Mason on a singular high stakes fantasy football team this year. Not one.
That stream we QB Goff
Richardson. No Goff. Sure.
Let's go tight end first though, because
Yeah.
Goff will be there. Who are you liking? Goddard?
Andrews.
Likely.
The likely route participation stuff was not nearly as good last week.
Yeah, and they're going to change that. They lost.
I don't think so. I think it's much more likely that we get a big Andrews game, in my opinion.
So
other opinions are out there.
The big rub on Glue Eater agrees with you, so I don't know if that's a good thing for you.
That's not great. It's not what you want.
The big rub on that team for Jacob, Ron, and I is like we drafted Jordan Mason, and then I was like, let's draft Elijah Mitchell too and just secure 49ers backup. And Jacob wanted Justin Fields. And I had Fields at the top of the queue, but it autoed us Mitchell. And so we had to and then Jacob's internet shorted out. And so it looks like he left out of rage. Yeah, but we had to run it back then. And what's funny now is we have Isaac Guerrero and Jordan Mason. So I don't know. I was directionally accurate to want both 49er backup running backs, even if Mitchell was out for the year.
You'll always be directionally accurate, but
Jacob was directionally
they'll never
accurate.
Take that away from you.
He was directionally accurate for wanting another quarterback when our quarterback was Caleb Williams. So, all right, Davis, kick us off for some champions.
Oh, let me. Okay, I got it pulled up. Champions.
How many picks are we doing here? Are we doing 6 or 8? 8. Right?
I think 8 is the most fun personally.
8 all spicy. Let's go.
All spicy.
Yeah.
Well, let's do. Oh, it's not spicy. Well, let's do Brees rushing plus receiving touchdown.
Doesn't have to be all spicy, but
it's not spicy. But
you want Brees touchdown?
Yeah.
For anyone confused, this means rushing or receiving touchdown.
And
This is
by the
actually
way,
negative spicy.
it's negative spicy. But by the way, I like doing these because with the starting running back touchdowns, because you get refunded if their backup scores. And
I was
this
gonna
would
say,
be,
why would we choose a 0.86 multiplier when you could just choose a different line at even? But you're saying because you get vulture protection on this,
you get vulture protection, which is like it's pretty useful.
I still would prefer to just pick a line here at even money, but
all right, let's do Brees 4.5 first downs then.
I was just gonna say for myself, but I'm okay with it for this.
No, let's do Brees 4.5 first downs.
Where do I even see that one? 5.5 targets feels like a lock.
Your screen is different than mine. You get, I can't do first quarter stuff. You might not have it. There you go. Yeah, rush plus receiving
first downs. Okay. We're getting even on Ayuk this week. We're going higher, 61.5 yards. Not a spice, but we got more picks to get in there.
All right. Justin Jefferson touchdown, 1.21.
I already looked him up. Okay, 1.2x. Wait, why
all spicy, baby?
Why is one?
Because that's lower.
Justin Jefferson not to score a touchdown. It seems like a good bet in a singular week sample, but
that's what they say. And they
but
lie
he did
to
last
you.
week, we're
didn't hit the week before either, buddy.
Lamb over 81.5 receiving yards. Ravens being getting killed. Davis?
I'm doing touchdown on mine. Let me see what the Andrews price is. Andrews 38.5 receiving yards.
Vetoed. Choose a different player. I get one veto.
All right. No Andrews. Okay, let's go McBride. Oh, he only has touchdowns, which I don't like as much.
They'll get a different line on that later.
Diggs touchdown.
God, give me Andrews instead. All right, Diggs touchdown. I'm gonna go for one that will actually hit, and that is Achan. Oh, we're not getting anything on Achan. Are you?
Probably because there's probably someone questionable. Like they probably don't know if it's Skylar Thompson or Huntley starting.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we got to persevere here. Let's go for Olave higher than 64.5 receiving yards or a touchdown if you want to spice it up on your end.
All right. I'm going Josh Jacobs longer or higher than 14.5 yards for his longest rush.
I love a DGen line like that. Some of my favorite lines are like Matt Ryan less than 1.5 rushing yards. I'm gonna see if we're getting that on someone. Rodgers looking for rushing yards here. Lower than 2.5 rushing yards. Finishes it out for us. $10. Turns it up into 1,300 if we hit. I got to build this on my phone because I can never get it to populate.
Yeah, I'm not. I just want it on the record. I'm not doing that Rodgers one.
Why not, dude? You don't like fun? That's the ultimate fun is sweating statue QB rushing yards.
Because it's just so tilting to lose. I'm going to do Rashee Rice yard. No, I'm doing Bijan touchdown.
Fundamentally against the show's premise, but you do you. 4.5 rushing yards. Like I know Diggs is losing us this slip, but I'm putting him in there.
I might have to do this on my phone too.
All right, I'm doing this on my phone, guys.
I got it in.
And I'm going to share it in my Discord because I can't post it on my phone either. Yeah, I don't know. I can't get it in there.
Here, I'll post it in your Discord.
Or you could if you could post it in the chat, Davis, people can tail it there. I'm perfectly fine with that.
There you go. It's in your Discord, it's in my Discord, and it's in the chat.
Thank you, sir. I'm just going to build this on my end. Davis, this was fun, man. happy to. And guys, let us know in the YouTube chat what you like about this format. We did a little bit different where we talked about the best ball bags, of course, with BBMD getting there. And then
people definitely like you being like, I feel fine about all of my guys, and then for me to be like, my teams are dead. I'm not making any money.
You're out advancing me, dude. You're out advancing me significantly.
Well, I got a bunch of dusty olds that are performing right now, and they're not going to keep doing it.
I don't know, man. I think it's just my attempted message was that everyone should feel fine. There's a lot of new players out there, and you should not panic if you are not doing so hot right now. And it only takes one team, like whatever. Even if you play like shit process-wise, which, like, guys, go ahead and look at Fareed's exposures. Love Fareed, but didn't have the best exposures last year. And guess what? The man won $3 million. So why am I not seeing Rodgers lower than 2.5 rushing yards?
You were too sharp, dude. They pulled it.
They yanked it? No? Okay, guys, we're reversing course. We're going Rodgers over 2.5 rushing yards.
That to me is like a better sweat even.
No, that's a worse sweat because sacks get taken out of
No, they don't.
I think they do for rushing yards, right?
That's only college.
Only college? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, whatever. I guess we have to bet the over now.
You got to do the over.
Maybe Underdog's looking out for me there. All right, got that slip in. Davis, anything you want to say before we get out of here? Who's the winning quarterback for the DraftKings Millie Maker?
Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray winning quarterback last week. Kyler Murray, he's scrambling like crazy right now. He's killing it. That's the boy.
I'm gonna go with Brock Purdy's week. Purdy the pumpkin gets a little bit of Halloween going early. October is on the horizon, along with my birthday. So for me, for Davis, click the like button, click the subscribe button. We're both on the road to 10K.
Gosh darn right we are.
Davis, are you above 5K?
No, I'm not above 5K yet. I'm at like 4,500 right now.
I think you'll have more subscribers than me this, I don't know, by December, maybe.
From your lips to God's ears, man. I hope we both get to 10K. I hope we both.
I'll have 1 million and you'll have 1 million and you'll have 1.1 million.
Buddy, I will. I'm not saying no.
All right, guys. Appreciate you. I'll be back tomorrow, as will Davis. Peace out. See you next week.